Dear sisters, welcome to all this session. As you all been accepted, this session will be recorded. So if you don't want to be visible, please turn off your videos and erase your names. Otherwise, this recording will be published and spread between IWF sisters. So, welcome all. Today we will be discussing on building a future at a volatile time through diversion. As you all know, the role of diversity, inclusion, and cultural transformation are the key subjects of our forums. So we will be focusing on this issue with someone who is very well in her area. Bahar Taşkın Öztürk joined us today. First of all, I would like to welcome her and thank you her for being with us. She's one of the public figures and a role model in this area. So today she will be with us. And my dear sister, Burcu Vural, who is the member of Ethics Committee, as well as some other committees, a very influential member of IWF Türkiye, will host Bahar today. So Burcu and Bahar, the floor is yours. Thank you for being with us once more.
Thank you.
Thanks, Çiğdem. Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to see so many IWF members joining us today, although this is the summer holiday season. For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Burcu, and alongside, as Çiğdem mentioned, my involvement with IWF Türkiye, I also serve on our ethics committee. So today I have the privilege of moderating this conversation through the lens of ethical and inclusive leadership. So at IWF, we believe that advancing women in leadership is about much more than the representation, but it's also about building organizations, communities, where different perspectives are genuinely valued, and because better leadership leads to better decisions. I think the timing of today's conversation couldn't be more relevant. We are leading through unprecedented change, and AI, demographic shifts, geopolitical uncertainty, and changing workforce expectations. One thing is becoming increasingly clear is that inclusion is no longer just a people agenda. It's a business and leadership imperative as well. That is why I'm delighted to introduce again Bahar Taşkın Öztürk. Bahar is the founder of İNAN, Inclusion Awareness Network, a leadership strategist who has built a global inclusion movement connecting leaders from more than 60 countries. And what I particularly admire is that she combines strategic business thinking with practical leadership experience and backs her insights with compelling research and real-world evidence. So today, Bahar will share with us the latest global trends, which I call them as like killer facts as well, and challenge some of our assumptions and present very powerful insights into why inclusive leadership has become one of the defining capabilities of successful leaders today. And the floor is yours, Bahar. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Burcu, for having me. It's really a pleasure to be with you. It's a strong woman. And Çiğdem, also thank you so much for these great introduction as well. So I would like to share with you a presentation, and as Burcu mentioned, I want to share with you something that may be criticized in your something in your mind, some bias maybe in your mind. So let me share my presentation first. Okay. I think you can see it, right? Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So every week, I host a TV show at Bloomberg. Maybe you already saw it. And I interviewed with the CEOs, policymakers, and global leaders. And regardless of the industry and their domain, I always ask them one question. What kind of future are we building? So actually today I want to share with you some of them because I realized that surprisingly actually we're not mainly talking about the AI or technology itself or digital transformation. We are mainly talking about the uncertainty. And that's why actually today when we think about the uncertainty, we also think that it's a kind of new normal for everyone. So maybe the question now, not about the change will happen because it already happened, we all see it and observe it, but what or how people can adapt as fast as change itself. So this is, I think, where diversity and inclusion become more and more important, especially for the leaders and organization. I call it like a immune system for uncertainty, dealing with the uncertainty. It is essential for the survival. So let's start with a great graphic because I want to show you why I believe this. So this is the graphic. I think some of you already saw this. This is the stocks. And maybe you heard that story before. Oracle announced that they will reduce approximately 30,000 jobs, which is equal to 19% of the workforce. And normally, investors react negatively or it kind of, the news because a huge number. But stock price went up. So why? Because company announced that those savings will be redirected toward artificial intelligence investment. So think a moment. It is the market rewarded efficiency before asking what happens to people. Honestly, I'm not here to criticize Oracle. It's just an example, and so many companies do the same. They reshaping the workforce, investing more in technology, redesigning the business model. This is not an isolated event. It's a signal, right? It is a signal that the rules of competition are changing. So maybe the question anymore is not like, will AI change the work? Because it already has as well. The real question, what will remain uniquely for the human and how we adapt that fast as the new normal. So I think we all feel like this, right? Upside down. Because I really like this image because sometimes I feel it and I sometimes when I speak so many leaders, they feel the same. Nothing seems wrong, actually. This is a new reality, but it's not what we used to have before. So let me show you something that I created with AI. So you see some, issues in the screen. I think AI will grow and do something better. But what I want to show you with this image, I want to show you what has changed in our life. The right part for me at least, it is like the last 6 years, not too long, okay? Not 10 years, not 20 years. It's just the 6 years. Then the other side is the changes in our life. So let's see it together. For decades, technology evolved steadily, right? Starting from the electricity, then internet, then smartphones. So we see that there's a change, but it's not like that fast. But AI is just entirely in a different speed. And the other side, as I said, like the last 6 years, you remember the pandemic, right? I asked this in that way, you remember, because I know that you all remember, but it is like, I don't know, like thousands of years before, because lots of changes happen after that. But the pandemic is something is too big, and it just one day everything has changed. We all went to the houses, right? We all started to work at home. It's just one day, and everything changed. So it's a big disruption. And then the Russian crisis, and we hear that it's, I mean, Ukraine war is like how it happened again, how the war started in Europe, and then it's become an energy crisis. And you compare with the today energy crisis, it was nothing. But at that time, we see that, oh my God, what happened? And what will happen to Europe, for example, because of that energy crisis? And then the generative AI. When it started too fast, it's expanded too fast. We all try to understand there are lots of scenarios happen. And people just start to scare. At the same time, companies change everything. We all feel it. I mean, it's not done, but it started so fast. And then the Trump, Trump, the second phase, when he came, and then he just changed so many things immediately, especially the trade part and all these taxes, and it affects all the countries. So we started to criticize the globalization, but at the same time, we realized that from one country affect every country. So globalization, localization, and everything at the same time, but we affected too much. And then another war, Iran. But it's not just for that one country, it's the Middle East conflict, right? And it's not on the Middle East because of the Hormuz, it's affected everyone, every countries. And then it started the energy crisis. It's not only energy crisis, but it's also the food crisis, right? If it continue long, then we do not imagine what will happen. So I'm just talking about the 6 years and how big things happen these 6 years. Because right now, we are not talking about something that we just see and realize and think about the impact and adapt before they adapt to see what will other do. We do not have time for doing this. We try to understand and we try to adapt immediately. So I want to come back to the artificial intelligence again, because this graphic shows the reality really well. You see this is the internet here, how people started to use the internet. And this is the only ChatGPT, only one company. So the one AI year equal to 7 internet year. So you see that how fast everything is just changing. And AI-driven global workforce transformation, because when we are thinking about AI, we always think about what will happen to me. I will be still in the business. What is the future for me? And how will impact? There are lots of scenarios, and we hear this question every time, every day. So let's see what happened until now. Last year, 32% impacted by the AI, the layoffs, I mean, and it's around 170,000, let's say. And this year, Q1, the percentage, the cutoff, the layoff is related to AI is 20%, but the expectation for the year end, 40%. And I think every day we hear the companies just, do the cost, the layoff, and they think that they can continue with the AI investments, right? So there's a big impact that we have because of the AI. But it's not just AI. As I showed you from the last 6 years, there are the US tariffs, it's a big impact. The Middle East energy crisis is another impact, and AI adaptation. So these 3 things today is changing everything. Because that we are talking about the electricity car, right? Autonomous cars and everything. And because of that crisis, and everyone thinks that China was impacted, has impacted too much then. But at the same time, because of the energy crisis, they may affect in a good way. So you never know what will happen. But at the same time, the inflation go up everywhere, and it's really affected everyone in the world, right? And so the AI also, the talent transformation, the productivity approach again. So the productivity increased, but not as much expected. And maybe you heard the Ford, they recall their employees, their engineers, because they think that the efficiency, the productivity is not as has not increased that as they expected. So there's a huge investment, huge expectation, but it's not at the same level. So there are lots of things going on, and it's not easy to predict what will come. But of course, we try to understand what will come next. So the World Economic Forum, you know that every year they share the risk report, and when we see this the risk for the short term and for the long term, I see that for the first 2 years especially, misinformation and disinformation is the critical risk. I say that sometimes when I see a video in my phone on Instagram, I say that, oh my God, for example, a nice, cute baby or a cat or something, and I share it with my friend, and they told me that it's AI Bahar. I said, okay, if it's something like this, then it's just fun and it's okay. But because of that misinformation, because of that something you don't understand if it's real or not, then these actually manipulate the people, the society, and it's affect our decisions. So it's a big risk. We don't know which one is true, which one is not, which one is, just created for some reason. So this is for the short term, especially, this is one of the big risks. And the other thing, as you see, the geopolitical conflict is increasing, the climate events. We still think that is something that will not happen, but it's just something really big. The climate events will affect our life, and there will be loss of immigration because of that climate event. And if you talk about the diversity, then we have to live all together. So it will be a big challenge for the upcoming times. And social polarization is growing so hard. You see lots of news in each countries, unfortunately. And artificial intelligence and technologies also has a critical risk, because we still, when you talk about ethics as well, we still don't know the ethics side and how you develop it, what is the limits, what it should be, and why only 2 or 3 countries has this power to produce the intelligence, artificial intelligence. If the AI will change the world, which means that only these 2 countries will change the world, and they direct according to their needs and their desire and their priorities. So this is a big risk. So there are lots of things that's going on, and it's not easy to follow, I think, what is happening, right? And because all of the things also create economical volatility and financial risk for so many businesses, and it's not easy to invest any of the industry or any of the country, because you don't know what will come next, and you don't know how to survive. So I want to talk about the Black Swan book. Maybe you heard the Black Swan metaphor before. I don't know if you have ever heard it before, or if you're aware of that book. It's an old book, by the way. And this is maybe you heard that everyone just thought that there's only the white swan. There is no black swan, just the white swan. But in one day, Australia, they see a black one. And then suddenly, just in one day, all the belief and everything is just destroyed, and they understand and they accept that there will be a black swan. And that's why the Nassim Taleb used as metaphor, the black swan metaphor. What is the book is about? The book is about the uncertainty. The book is about that the change will come something that we do not expect. Because, for example, 2008, the financial crisis in US, you all remember that. They changed everything, and no one expect that it would come. And after that, of course, people just say that we all know that it will come, or something like this, but actually no one expect that it will come. So this book says that it is something, and everything changed, especially the big change comes after something we do not predict. Okay, so it means that we cannot easily predict what will come next, but we can be ready for it. So there's a difference. We do not predict, we do not know what will come next, because there are lots of things happen, and the big things happen that you cannot imagine before, because the risk strategies and expectation all based on what you used to have, right? What happened before. But sometimes, especially the big things comes like the COVID, like generative AI, not based on the previous experience. So that's why we cannot predict. but we can be ready for it. And actually, this presentation is all about how we be ready for it. And these books is also shows that you need to be ready. You do not think about the prediction a lot. You try to find how to adapt and how to be ready by yourself, by organization. And today we know that there are lots of uncertainty, there are lots of unpredictable things comes, and everything is changing so fast. So what we need to think about, how we adapt, how we will survive. So I want to show you some articles, because try to find the answer of this question. I search a lot for lots of the articles, lots of the books and everything. And actually I try to find something so new. What I mean is that because there are lots of things change. So like 10 years or 5 years before, when you think about the world or the leadership or organization, most probably it's not too relevant for today.